Today's video is for goalies who have to hide hip pain from their team, or those goalies who it takes them, sort of 15 minutes to just walk like a normal person the morning after a game. In today's video, I'm going to show you how the free butterfly challenge helps recreational to NHL goalies banish their painful hips. Maybe that hips pain that they're trying to hide from their team, and let you make saves that surprise your coaches, but even you. This is Maria from GoalieTrainingPro.com. I'm an exercise physiologist who helps you win more games with fewer injuries. Let me show you how it works. And if you're new around here, welcome. You're going to love it. Now would be a great time to subscribe, so just hit that subscribe button and then let's get working on those hips. More great news, you don't even have to take notes, so just stick around to the end. I'll give you a link where you can get all this information laid out exactly for you. So here's what I wanted to create. I wanted to create a mobility program that worked, focusing on giving goalies a wider butterfly flare in 14 days or less. I wanted to make it so that basically no one had any excuse not to do it. So I made it so that each day is 10 minutes or less. So there's no excuse. If you don't find 10 minutes or make 10 minutes in your day to work on getting a wider butterfly flare for free, then you simply don't want a wider butterfly flare, and you're okay if, those pucks are sneaking in between your skate and the post. Not okay, by the way. There are two elements: self-myofascial release and some mobility training, and you alternate between the two. So day one is whatever, self-myofascial release. Day two is some active stretching. When you first look at it, you will think, oh, this looks way too easy for me. And it is pretty easy. I made it to be easy. This is like the lowest barrier to entry. These are the simplest effective exercises put in here. I didn't throw in sort of the advanced stuff that is going to actually make your muscles sore for the first few days. I just put in the simplest stuff that works. You will find some of the drills, though, it's like, wow, that looked really easy, but it's actually pretty challenging. I'm looking at you, Ninja Flow. If you've done it, But what's really cool is that after only about even 5 days, you'll start noticing a difference on the ice. When goalies describe it back to me, they say, my hips feel looser when I'm out there. I can move the way I want to move. I made a save and my leg got out there. It surprised me because I didn't even know it could do that. And if you want to follow along, then go to your app store, type in Butterfly Challenge and download it for free. And then I'm going to walk you through a couple of the finer points of it just to make sure you're doing it exactly right. So this is what it looks like, and I'm going to go over a few key points. So day one is self-myofascial release. I can click on any exercise and see a video of me teaching you exactly how to do it. So make sure you watch those videos, even if you think, oh yeah, I know that one. Watch the videos, because I'll give you the key points that I want to make sure that you're hitting. So it just goes through 2 weeks, day one, day two. You're just going to alternate between the two. When you do your self-myofascial release, be slow and deliberate with it. Think of it like a massage, not like a ride at the fair. It's not zipping around. It's sort of scouring the muscle, finding trigger points, trying to get in there and work on remodeling tissue. If you have a lacrosse ball, use a lacrosse ball. If you're brand new at this, probably definitely a foam roller is going to be way more gentle. So start with that. If you don't have either of those, then use a piece of PVC pipe, use a basketball, use whatever you have, use a rolling pin, whatever you have at home. Don't force your stretches. So depending on our hip structure, we're going to have different degrees of mobility. If you're doing a stretch that doesn't feel right or that gives you pain or discomfort, that's not normal. So leave that one out. You can still do all the other exercises that feel fine, but leave out those ones that don't feel right. I'm not saying you have hip impingement, but goalies with certain types of hip impingement will find they just can't get into certain positions. And by trying to force our joint into a position it won't go into, we're not helping at all, we're actually making it worse. So if it doesn't feel right, it gives you pain or discomfort in the joint, just leave it out. If you feel the muscles working a bit, that's okay. Let me walk you through some specifics on the different exercises now, just again, so that you're sure you're getting maximum benefit from each and every workout. When you do the rock back T-spine rotation, I want you rocked all the way back. So sitting right back on your heels as much as you can. If you feel that in the front of your hip, like it's just like a block or it won't go, then try widening your knees a little bit and see if that lets you get back further or let it feel more comfortable. We want to do this because I don't want your lower back rotating, and this position kind of locks in your lower back, and then you'll just rotate out. A lot of times when we do this in the gym, we'll breathe in through our nose as we rotate up, and breathe out through our mouth as we rotate down. With this arm, I want to kind of post off that shoulder. So let me show you on this. I don't want to be here with my shoulder. I want to be there with my shoulder. So I'm kind of in a protracted position. And then I'm just going as far as I comfortably can. The next one that follows from this is a rock back super dog, which is a glute activation exercise. So again, you have to be sitting right back on the heel of this leg, but then this leg is extended, or this hip is extended, so your leg is out behind you on this side. We'll often hold a lacrosse ball behind our knee. Let me scoot her forward a bit, because that helps me keep my hamstring in a shortened position. So that's a disadvantageous position for the hamstring, so it makes my glutes do the work preferentially. So I'm here, and then it's just a very small lift. So a lot of people come up out of this because they want to get the feeling of a bigger lift, but then you're actually extending your back a little bit. So once again, we've locked in the lower back. We want to just get that hip extension as we go. Then you move to the supine hip internal rotation. The biggest thing for me with this one is don't force your knees together. You're pretty strong in that motion, so don't use your strong muscles to really force it and think, oh, I'm really going to improve this a ton. It doesn't work that way, and sometimes that can actually make you feel tighter into hip internal rotation. So just start with your feet a little bit outside hip width, bring them in just till you feel a very gentle kind of tightness sensation. Not everything is going to feel like a stretch, like when you stretch your quadriceps. Some of it's just like, okay, yeah, that feels like sort of a medium tightness there. And then, if I feel nothing at all, then I can just take my feet a little wider apart until I get that sensation. From there, we go to our tummy, where we do a prone hip internal rotation. So really important for this one is that you keep your knees together, and you want to, when you do it, you want to make a fist with one hand and just rest your forehead there. You don't want to be up like this because that changes your back position. So we're here, knees are together, and we're just pulling our feet apart, trying to keep our pelvis down. So don't let your bum stick up in the air, even if it gives you more range of motion. Keep your pelvis down. And here's a little super insider bit of info for you. There's actually a mistake in the app. The half kneeling groin with rotation actually meant for it to be tall half groin for rotation. So you can still do the exercise in the app. I think that's what was in the version maybe 2 of the butterfly challenge. This is version 3, but this is actually what I intended it to be. So you're in a nice tall half kneeling groin position, so your hips are underneath you, they're not sitting back behind you. I feel a stretch in my groins, not as much as I possibly can, but just a medium stretch. And then I'm going to rotate here and come up and rotate up and away, following my hand with my head. I'll come down, and I'll just reach what I can comfortably reach. So I can reach my toes, that's comfortable to me, and then I'm rotating up and away. If you've followed me for a while, you know that I use the 90-90 stretch a lot. And if you've followed me for a while, you should probably be subscribed. We're probably to that stage in our relationship where you should subscribe. If we've been subscribed for a while, then you know what time it is. It's time to hit the bell. That's the next stage in our relationship. I'm ready if you are. Just no pressure, but it's time. What's key with the 90-90 stretch is that I'm actually at 90 degrees. So 90-degree bend at my knee, 90 degrees at my thighs, and 90 degrees at this knee. And then I need to stay up tall in my torso. So when I fold forward, I'm folding from my hips. I'm not round, like I can do this. That is not hip mobility. That is back flexibility. So I want to keep a neutral back and then put that stretch on my hips. And I come forward here over the front of my parallel or perpendicular leg, I guess it is, sort of perpendicular to my body. And then I also go here, staying up tall and doing a little side bend, like I'm taking my shoulder to this ankle bone. And again, staying tall and not trying to force it, just going so I feel a nice stretch. As I do this, I'll check, did my angles change? Am I still 90, 90, 90? And then comes the ninja flow. So the key ingredient with the ninja flow is staying nice and low. We are trying to work some local muscular endurance in your legs. So I get posted off this leg, staying nice and low. And then I reach with this leg. As I reach with this leg, I'm going to stay nice and low, shift my hips, feel a stretch here, rotate up and away. Then I have to stabilize here. I have to keep this knee pointing straight ahead as I recover. So that's the lateral movement. But what also is in there? Well, there's an alternate knee down. So I'm here, I reach, I come across, I rotate up and away. I keep this stable. I bring this foot in just outside hip width. Then I go knee down, back. Balance, stabilize, rotate up and away, stabilize, recover, knee down, knee down. It's a deep burn. So there's some strategies and ideas and tips that are going to help you get more out of the butterfly challenge. If you're really serious about it and want to actually see how well it works for you, do a before and after measurement. So all you do is you get a tape measure, you lay it out on the floor, you get in your butterfly position, get your hips up nice and tall, keep your knees pinched together with your heel over your toes, and then get as wide as you can and measure that. Don't sort of try to creep it and use friction to hold you there. Just go, what's your active butterfly flare, keeping your hips up. Measure from toe to toe before you start day 1, and measure toe to toe after you finish day 14. Here are a few other tips. Can you do it every day? Both the self-myofascial release and the mobility? Yes, you can. Does it deliver better results? I'm not sure that it does, but if you want to do that, then you can. Should you do more reps? No, I'm not. I gave you what I want you to do, so you don't need to do more reps or longer holds or anything like that. Most goalies will gain 2 to 5 inches in their flare, and even more importantly to me, they'll notice improvements in how they feel on the ice, like surprising improvements in how much looser they feel when they're moving on the ice. What happens if you do it and there actually isn't any improvement? So you measure before and you measure after and there's 0 improvement. Then right away I'm suspicious. When I worked in the sport medicine clinic, if someone came in with what we thought was patellofemoral knee pain, let's say, and we did the things that typically make patellofemoral knee pain feel better, and their knee wasn't getting better, then immediately we have to think, okay, then I don't think this is patellofemoral knee pain. It's the same kind of thing. If a goalie comes to me, wants to get a wider butterfly flare, especially, I mean, if you're in the Shutout Academy or turning pro and you've been doing my mobility programs, you know, for 3 months or 3 years, you're not going to see as much of a dramatic improvement with these because these are pretty basic drills. You're sort of beyond that. But if you're just coming to it and you've kind of been doing a regular stretching program, and this is maybe your first goalie specific stretching program, and you followed it the way you're supposed to do it, and you weren't trying to force your stretches, and you find that, you know, I measured it and I didn't get any improvement, then I actually would be looking for a good sport physical therapist to go in and have them assess my hips to see, hey, is this a capsular restriction? Is it a muscle limitation? Or do I maybe have a different structure of a hip that where what I have in internal rotation is really anatomically my maximum? And it's important to know that too, so that you're not, you know, continuing to try to force your hip into a position that it just can't physically get into. So if you don't have it already, go to your app store, type in Butterfly Challenge. It is free. If you're more of a PDF kind of person, I like to print it off and have it with me, then I'll put a link in the description where you can get a PDF as well. So when you do it, let me know how much you gain. If you've already done it, then drop in the comments below how much you gained. I always like to see. Last time I did it, when did we do it? I know we did it in the Goalie Training Lab, which is a free group I have over on Facebook. It's private, but if you want to join, just go to Goalie Training Lab and ask to join. And if you're not a jerk, then you're more than welcome to join. We did it as a group, and I think I gained 4 inches my butterfly challenge. That's probably the, you know, 4th or 5th time that I've done version 3. So you will see improvements over time. Drop it in the comments. Let me know how you did. If you haven't done so already, hit the like button, and I will catch you next time.